All right, let's jump right in. We're going to go deep into the engine room of AI today to figure out one of the biggest questions out there. How do machines actually learn? You've probably wondered about this, right? It's that invisible magic that seems to know exactly what you want before you even do. Well, today's the day we pull back the curtain and see what's really going on behind the scenes. So, to get this, you gotta understand how things used to be. For the longest time, programming meant feeding a computer a super strict set of rules. Like if it's got 4 legs and fur, then it's a dog. But what happens when it sees a cat? The whole system just falls apart. The new way, the machine learning way, is a total game changer. We forget the rules. Instead, we just show it thousands and thousands of examples and say, you figure it out. I love this analogy. Think about a master chef. The old way of programming, that's like a cook who can only follow a recipe, word for word. But the machine learning way, that's like a chef who learns by actually cooking 1,000 different meals. They mess up, they learn, they get a feel for the ingredients. Eventually, they don't even need a recipe. They can create something totally new. It's all about experience, not just following a list of instructions. And that's the key takeaway right there. Machine learning is that secret engine inside AI. It's this whole process of giving a machine so many examples that it just starts to get it. It figures out the rules all on its own, without a human having to spell out every little detail. Okay, so how does this learning actually work? Well, it turns out there are 3 main ways, or let's call them classrooms. And the first one? It's all about learning with a teacher. Imagine this. You're studying for a huge exam, but you have the answer key, every single answer. So you practice a question, check the key, see where you went wrong, and you just keep doing that over and over. Pretty soon, you start seeing the patterns, and you can answer the questions without even needing the key anymore. Well, that's exactly what supervised learning is. We give the machine a massive pile of data where everything is already labeled with the right answer. We'll show it millions of emails that are already marked spam or not spam, and eventually, it just learns to see the difference all by itself. And believe me, you use this every single day. That's what's powering your Gmail spam filter. It's how your banking app flags a UPI transaction that looks a little weird. And yep, it's exactly how your phone learned to recognize your face and nobody else's. All right, let's head to the next classroom. Now, what if there's no teacher? What if there's no answer key? Can a machine learn anything then? You bet it can. Picture a teacher on the first day of school. She walks into a new classroom, she doesn't know any of the kids, but just by watching, just by observing for a few weeks, she starts to see things. She notices which kids are always together, who the natural leaders are, who's a bit more creative. She figures out the hidden groups in the class, all on her own. And that's unsupervised learning in a nutshell. We just dump a giant, messy pile of data in front of the machine. No labels, no answers. We just tell it, go find something interesting. And its whole job is to find those hidden groups and patterns, things a human might completely miss. And again, this is happening all around you. It's how Amazon or Flipkart can sort millions of shoppers into different groups to show you things you'll probably want to buy. It's how Spotify or Ghana can map out your music taste and create the perfect playlist. It's even how banks can spot a strange cluster of purchases that just doesn't look right. Okay, on to our third and final classroom. This one's a little different. It's less about looking at data and more about doing things. It's all about trial and error, a lot like learning to play a video game. The best way to think about it is teaching a kid to ride a bike, right? When they fall down, that's a penalty. Ouch, negative feedback. But for every second they manage to stay upright and balanced, that's a reward, a little point. And through thousands of those little falls and successes, they just get it. They figure out how to ride. That right there is the core of reinforcement learning. And AI is just let loose in some environment. It tries stuff. If an action gets it closer to its goal, it gets a reward, a point. If it does something wrong, it gets a penalty. And after doing this millions or even billions of times, it figures out the absolute best strategy to get the most points. This is how an AI can become a world champion in games like chess or Ludo. It just plays against itself over and over again. This is also a huge part of how self-driving cars learn to deal with tricky traffic situations. And hey, it's even used to help chatbots like ChatGPT learn what kind of answers humans actually like to hear. All right, so we've met our 3 learners: the student with the answer key, the solo detective, and the kid learning by doing. Now let's bring them all together and see how it all clicks. So let's do a quick rundown. Supervised learning learns from labeled data to make predictions. Unsupervised learning finds hidden patterns in unlabeled data. And reinforcement learning learns through rewards and punishments to master a task. See? 3 totally different approaches, but all are super powerful ways for a machine to learn. And check this out. Here's a great way to tie all 3 together. Think of a farmer, a kisan. In year 1, an expert comes and labels all his fields. This soil is good for wheat, this one is bad. That's supervised learning. The next year, the farmer's on his own. He just notices that the fields closer to the river seem to grow better crops. No one told him that. He just found the pattern. That's unsupervised. Then, in the 3rd year, he gets experimental. He tries 10 different fertilizers, seeing what works and what doesn't. He learns from trial and error. And that is reinforcement learning. All 3 methods help him get a better harvest. So here's the biggest point of all. This isn't science fiction. This isn't some tech that's decades away. This secret engine is running right now, inside your phone.
Just think about it for a second. Google Photos sorting all your pictures and finding everyone's faces. That's unsupervised learning. Google Maps telling you there's a traffic jam ahead. Supervised learning. WhatsApp suggesting the perfect reply. Netflix knowing exactly the show you're in the mood for. It's all machine learning, humming away quietly in the background of your everyday life.
So if you remember one thing, let it be this. Machine learning isn't some kind of magic spell. It's a process. It's how an AI goes from being a blank student to an absolute genius. It learns from examples, it finds patterns on its own, and it gets better through trial and error. The only question left is, as it gets smarter and smarter, what's it going to learn next?